communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Hello and welcome to Millennium News TV 24/7 Global News Update. My name is Todd, and here are today's top news stories. Thank you for being with us. Alabama has become the first state to criminalize the use of puberty blockers and hormones to treat transgender people under the age of 19. In line with some other Republican-led states, legislators here also passed a law requiring students to use bathrooms corresponding to their sex at birth and prohibiting discussion of gender and sexual identity in the lower grades. Critics have derided the limitation on such discussions as the "Don't Say Gay" law. The two GOP bills were signed into law Friday by Republican Governor Kay Ivey, a day after being passed by the Alabama legislature. Advocacy groups quickly filed a lawsuit Monday challenging the medication ban. Republicans argue the bills are needed to protect children and that decisions on gender-affirming medications should wait until adulthood. Critics say the politicians are interfering with medical decisions that belong with families and their doctors. Catherine Oakley, state legislative director and senior counsel for the Human Rights Campaign, a national advocacy group for the LGBTQ community, called the two pieces of legislation, quotes, single most anti-transgender legislative package in history. End quotes. Next news. The South Dakota House is set to decide Tuesday whether Attorney General Jason Ravensborg should be impeached for his conduct before and after he struck and killed a pedestrian on the shoulder of a highway. Troopers have said Ravensborg was distracted before the September 2020 crash that killed 55-year-old Joseph Bover. Ravensborg initially told authorities he thought he had struck a deer or other large animal. He went back the next day and found Bover's body. Opponents of impeachment say Ravensborg need not be held accountable by the House because he wasn't on the job when the crash happened. He had been driving back from a Republican fundraiser. Ravensborg has cast Bover's death as a tragic accident. He pleaded no contest last year to a pair of traffic misdemeanors, including making an illegal lane change. Next news. Iowa has never been fertile ground for Joe Biden. His 1988 presidential bid imploded in a plagiarism scandal sparked by comments he made at a debate there. He abandoned his 2008 White House run after a fifth-place Iowa caucus finish, and his 2020 campaign limped to a fourth-place finish in the state's technologically glitchy caucus. After bouncing back to win the Democratic nomination, Biden returned for a rally at the Iowa State Fairgrounds 4 days before Election Day 2020, only to see Donald Trump win the state by 8 percentage points. Biden heads back to Iowa for the first time as president on Tuesday at a moment when he is facing yet more political peril. He's saddled with sagging approval ratings and inflation at a 40-year high, while his party faces the prospect of big midterm election losses that could cost it control of Congress. Next news. The mass shooting that police say was a gun battle between rival gangs that left 6 dead and 12 wounded earlier this month shook the downtown core of California's capital and created another challenge for a city trying to redefine itself as a destination for more than just government workers. In recent years, downtown Sacramento has benefited from billions of dollars of development, but has been rattled by rising crime, protests resulting in property damage, and an economic drubbing caused by the pandemic. Now, the city is reeling from the aftermath of the April 3rd shooting, when at least 5 gunmen fired 100 shots at people left bars and nightclubs. The violence just blocks from the capital highlights the successes and challenges many U.S. urban centers are facing as struggles with crime and homelessness persist despite revitalization efforts. Though Sacramento is home to more than 500,000 people, it's considered sleepy by California standards. The derisive nickname, Cowtown, grew out of its agricultural roots. We're going to take a short break from the daily global English news of Millennium News TV 24/7. Please stay with us. Thank you.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Hello and welcome back to Millennium News TV 24/7 Global News Update. Here's the continuation of today's top stories. Thank you for being with us. President Joe Biden asked India's Narendra Modi on Monday not to accelerate the buying of Russian oil as the US and other nations try to cut off Moscow's energy income following the invasion of Ukraine. The Indian Prime Minister made no public commitment to refrain from Russian oil, a source of tension with the US meeting by video call. Biden told Modi that the US could help India diversify its sources of energy, according to Press Secretary Jen Psaki. Even though India receives little of its oil from Russia, it stepped up recently with a major purchase as other democracies are trying to isolate Russian President Vladimir Putin. In quotes, the president also made clear that he doesn't believe it is in India's interest to accelerate or increase imports of Russian energy or other commodities, end quotes, Psaki said. At a separate State Department news conference with Secretary of State Antony Blinken, Indian Foreign Minister Subrahmanyam Jaishankar pointedly suggested that Europe, not India, be the focus of Washington's concern about energy purchases from Russia. Next news. The nonprofit that distributed most of the $350 million in donations from Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg to election offices in 2020 said Monday that it won't disperse similar donations this year after backlash from conservatives suspicious that the contributions tilted the outcome of the presidential race toward Joe Biden. Instead, the Center for Technology and Civic Life is launching a different program. Dubbed the U.S. Alliance for Election Excellence, the $80 million five-year effort is intended to create a network for the nation's thousands of local election officials who can apply for aid to improve their technology and processes. In quotes. Unfortunately, years of underinvestment means many local election departments often have limited capacity and training. The U.S. Alliance for Election Excellence is bringing together world-class partners so that local election officials no longer have to go it alone, end quotes, said Tiana Epps Johnson, CTCL's executive director, who announced the new program at the TED 2022 conference. Next news. A federal jury convicted a former Virginia police officer of storming the U.S. Capitol with another on Monday, convicted former Rocky Mount police officer Thomas Robertson of all 6 counts he faced stemming from the January 6, 2021 riot, including charges that he interfered with police officers at the Capitol and he entered a restricted area with a dangerous weapon, a large wooden stick. His sentencing hearing wasn't immediately scheduled. Robertson's jury trial was the second among hundreds of Capitol riot cases. The first ended last month with jurors convicting a Texas man, Guy Reffitt, of all 5 counts in his indictment. Next news. A state court judge has ruled that Democrat Abby Finkenauer cannot appear on the June 7th Iowa primary ballot for U.S. Senate because she didn't gather enough petition signatures, potentially knocking off the candidate considered by many to be the party's best chance to unseat Republican U.S. Senator Charles Grassley. Judge Scott Beatty, a 2018 appointee of Republican Governor Kim Reynolds, filed a ruling late Sunday that overturned a decision by a 3-member panel of state elected officials. The panel concluded last week that Finkenauer's campaign staffers had substantially complied with Iowa law that requires candidates to obtain 3,500 names, including at least 100 signatures from at least 19 countries. Finkenauer plans to appeal the decision, and the Iowa Supreme Court scheduled a hearing Wednesday with a promise to rule on the matter by the end of the week to meet deadlines for sending ballots to overseas voters. We're going to take a short break from the daily global English news of Millennium News TV 24/7. Please stay with us. Thank you.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Hello and welcome back to Millennium News TV 24/7 Global News Update. Here's the continuation of today's top stories. Thank you for being with us. It's very disturbing news. Corpses are now carpeted through the streets of Mariupol after Russian troops killed more than 10,000 civilians over the past 6 weeks in their unsuccessful fight to capture the strategic southern port, the mayor said, while Western powers warned Tuesday of an ongoing buildup for a suspected Russian assault in Ukraine's east. The British Ministry of Defense said Russian forces are continuing to pull out of Belarus to support operations in eastern Ukraine, focused on the Donbas region where Russian allied separatists have claimed independence. In quotes, fighting in eastern Ukraine will intensify over the next 2 to 3 weeks as Russia continues to refocus its efforts there, end quotes, the ministry said in a tweet. In quotes, Russian attacks remain focused on Ukrainian positions near Donetsk and Luhansk, with further fighting around Kherson and Mykolaiv, and a renewed push toward Kramatorsk, end quotes. The southeastern port city of Mariupol has seen some of the heaviest attacks and civilian suffering in the 6-week-old war. But the land, sea, and air assaults by Russian forces fighting to capture it have increasingly limited information on circumstances inside the city. Next news. North Korea is destroying a South Korean-owned golf course at a scenic mountain resort in the second confirmed case of South Korean assets being eliminated in an area where the rivals once ran a joint tour program, officials said Tuesday in Seoul. North Korea's demolition of South Korean-built facilities at its Diamond Mountain resort comes as ties between the countries remain strained over the North's recent series of high-profile missile tests. Responding to queries by the Associated Press, Seoul's Unification Ministry said it has confirmed North Korea is demolishing the golf resort in addition to a South Korean-owned hotel there. Last Friday, the ministry said North Korea was dismantling the Haegungang Hotel, a floating hotel docked at a coastal area in the resort. The ministry said it strongly urges North Korea to stop destroying the South Korean facilities. It demanded North Korea return to talks to address the issue. Next news, please. Britain sanctioned two leading Bosnian Serb politicians Monday, accusing them of encouraging ethnic hatred and jeopardizing the peace accord that ended the civil war in Bosnia-Herzegovina more than 25 years ago. Milorad Dodik and Zeljka Shivanovic will be hit with asset freezes and travel bans in the first sanctions the UK has leveled in Bosnia. Foreign Secretary Liz Truss said Russian President Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine had emboldened the pair to further erode the international rules-based system in the Western Balkans. In quotes, these two politicians are deliberately undermining the hard-won peace in Bosnia and Herzegovina, end quotes. Truss said in a statement, in quotes, encouraged by Putin, their reckless behavior threatens stability and security across the Western Balkans, end quotes. UK authorities say the pair have used their positions to push for the de facto succession of Republika Srpska, one of two semi-autonomous regions that comprise the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, in direct contravention of the country's constitution. Next news. Nearly 2/3 of all Ukrainian children have fled their homes in the 6 weeks since Russia's invasion, and the United Nations have verified the deaths of 142 youngsters, although the number is almost certainly much higher. The UN Children's Agency said Monday. Manuel Fontaine, UNICEF's Emergency Programs Director, who just returned from Ukraine, said having 4.8 million of Ukraine's 7.5 million children displaced in such a short time is something he hadn't seen happen so quickly in 31 years of humanitarian work. Ukraine's UN ambassador, Sergei Kizlytsia, claimed Russia has taken more than 121,000 children out of Ukraine, and reportedly drafted a bill to simplify and accelerate adoption procedures for orphans and even those who have parents and other relatives. Most of the children were removed from the besieged southern port city of Mariupol and taken to eastern Donetsk, and then to the Russian city of Taganrog, according to Kizlytsia. We're going to take a short break from the daily global English news of Millennium News TV 24/7. Please stay with us. Thank you.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Hello and welcome back to Millennium News TV 24/7 Global News Update. Here's the continuation of today's top stories. Thank you for being with us. Monica Kariuki is about ready to give up on farming. What is driving her off her 10 acres of land outside Nairobi isn't bad weather, pests, or blight. The traditional agricultural curses. But fertilizer, it costs too much. Despite thousands of miles separating her from the battlefields of Ukraine, Kariuki and her cabbage, corn, and spinach farm are indirect victims of Russian President Vladimir Putin's invasion. The war has pushed up the price of natural gas, a key ingredient in fertilizer, and has led to severe sanctions against Russia, a major exporter of fertilizer. Kariuki used to spend 20,000 Kenyan shillings, or about $175, to fertilize her entire farm. Now she would need to spend 5 times as much. Continuing to work the land, she said, would yield nothing but losses. In quotes, "I cannot continue with the farming business. I am quitting farming to try something else." End quotes, she said. Next news. When the coronavirus pandemic first hit the U.S., sales of window coverings at Halcyon Shades quickly went dark. So the suburban St. Louis business did what hundreds of other small manufacturers did. It pivoted to make protective supplies with help from an $870,000 government grant. But things haven't worked out as planned. The company quit making face shields because it wasn't profitable. It still hasn't sold a single N95 mask because of the struggles to get equipment, materials, and regulatory approval. In quotes. So far, it has been a net drain of funds and resources and energy. End quotes. Halcyon Shades owner Jim Schmersal said, "Many companies that began producing personal protective equipment with patriotic optimism have scaled back, shut down, or simply given up, according to an Associated Press analysis based on numerous interviews with manufacturers. Some already have sold equipment they bought with state government grants. Next news. What do we know about stealth Omicron so far? What do we know? It's an extra contagious version of the Omicron variant, but it doesn't seem to cause more severe disease. Since it was first identified in November, BA.2 has been spreading around the globe, driving new surges in parts of Asia and Europe. It's now the dominant coronavirus version in the US and more than 6 other countries. It was given the stealth nickname because it looks like the earlier Delta variant on certain PCR tests, says Kristen Coleman at the University of Maryland School of Public Health. The original Omicron, by contrast, is easy to differentiate from Delta because of a genetic quirk. In rare cases, early research indicates BA.2 can infect people even if they've already had an Omicron infection. COVID-19 vaccines appear just as effective against both kinds of Omicron, offering strong protection against severe illness and death. Next news. Philadelphia became the first major U.S. city to reinstate its indoor mask mandate on Monday after reporting a sharp increase in coronavirus infections, with the city's top health official saying she wanted to forestall a potential new wave driven by an Omicron subvariant. Confirmed COVID-19 cases have risen more than 50% in 10 days. The threshold at which the city's guidelines call for people to wear masks indoors, said Dr. Cheryl Bettigol, the health commissioner. Health officials believe the recent spike is being driven by the highly transmissible BA.2 subvariant of Omicron, which has spread rapidly throughout Europe and Asia, and has become dominant in the US in recent weeks. In quotes. If we fail to act now, knowing that every previous wave of infections has been followed by a wave of hospitalizations and then a wave of deaths, it will be too late for many of our residents, end quote, said Betty Cole, noting about 750 Philadelphia residents died, 750 Philadelphia residents died in the wintertime Omicron outbreak, in quotes. This is our chance to get ahead of the pandemic, to put our masks on until we have more information about the severity of this new variant, end quotes. We're going to take a short break from the daily global English news of Millennium News TV 24/7. Please stay with us. Thank you.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Hello and welcome back to Millennium News TV 24/7 Global News Update. Thanks for staying with us. Here's a continuation of today's top stories. Thank you. Carrie Underwood and Jason Aldean were the two big winners. The Judds reunited, and Kelsey Ballerini turned a tough break into a one-woman house party at Monday night's CMT Music Awards. Underwood and Aldean won Video of the Year and Collaborative Video of the Year for their duet, If I Didn't Love You, on the show that uses fan votes to honor the best in country music videos. In quotes. This one's all about the fans, man. End quotes. Underwood said as she accepted the Belt Buckle CMT trophy for Video of the Year, a record 25th win for her. In quotes, I'm pretty sure I picked the perfect partner for this song. End quotes, Aldean said. The Judds made their first major awards show performance in over 2 decades, with 76-year-old Naomi and her 57-year-old daughter, Winona, singing their signature 1990 classic, Love Can Build a Bridge. They were joined by a gospel choir in the performance that was pre-recorded outside the Country Music Hall of Fame. Next news. Britney Spears. Less than 5 months after her conservatorship ended, confused some fans Monday when she posted on Instagram that she's pregnant and apparently married. In quotes, I lost so much weight to go on my Maui trip only to gain it back. End quotes. Okay, the pop star wrote in part Monday, accompanied by a photo of flowers and a cup of coffee. In quotes. I thought, gee, what happened to my stomach? Question mark. End quotes. My husband said, no, you're food pregnant, silly. End quotes. So I got a pregnancy test, and oh well, I'm having a baby. End quotes. Spears, with liberal use of various emojis, didn't name partner Sam Asghari as the husband, and added, I obviously won't be going out as much due to the paps getting their money shot of me like they unfortunately already have, end quotes. While some, including Paris Hilton, congratulated Spears, Monday evening, Asghari added an Instagram post of his own, accompanied by a painting of a lion family with 3 members. God help us. Next news. Moments before Ryan Howard went to Atlanta with the #1 pick in the WNBA draft, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert said the league is working very hard to help Brittany Griner back to the United States. Griner, one of the league's biggest stars, has been detained in Russia since arriving at a Moscow airport in mid-February. Russian authorities said a search of her luggage revealed vape cartridges that allegedly contained oil derived from cannabis, which could carry a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison, a Russian prison. In quotes, I want to take a moment to reiterate the WNBA's support for Phoenix Mercury star Brittany Griner, end quotes. Engelbert said before the draft started, in quotes, please know that getting her home safely continues to be our top priority. And while we are facing an extraordinarily complex challenge, there is strength in community, especially the WNBA, end quotes. Next news. Taylor Rogers struggled to find the right words through all his emotions after he and twin brother Tyler pitched in the same major league game wearing opposing uniforms. Each part of the box score for a moment they had envisioned for so long. Taylor pitched the ninth inning to earn his third save in San Diego's 4-2 point victory against losing pitcher Tyler Rogers 0-1. And the San Francisco Giants on Monday night. They even stood in for their managers, exchanging the lineup cards, startling the umpire crew before posing for a photo with them. In quotes, I don't know if I even have the words yet, end quotes, said Taylor Rogers, acquired by the Padres from Minnesota last Thursday ahead of opening day. In quotes, really, really cool. I want to thank Bob Melvin and Gabe Kapler for letting us do the lineup cards. That was a special moment and got some good pictures from that too. I'm so blessed. I can't believe it's happening. End quotes. This has been the daily global news update of Millennium News TV 24/7. Thank you for watching all over the world. Please log in to get the latest news stories, updates, editorials, current events, and we are also bridging communities worldwide. MillenniumFoundationUSA.com. Check it out. Check out all of our social networking sites: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We are Millennium News 24. Also, our YouTube channel is News Channel M24. Viewers now on network broadcasting as well. Android and iOS devices: Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV. Also, all smart TV platforms. Please enjoy our entertainment and latest news and views. Our Millennium TV apps: Millennium TV USA on Android, Millennium News Google, www.millenniumtv24.com. Stay with Millennium News 24. Thank you, and may God bless us all. Peace. Thank you.